Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you for being here with us on the Zoom of Blockchain at HEC at this roundtable about NFTs with exceptional speakers representing the diversity of the value chain of the NFT industry, from infrastructure and technology firms supporting the development and adoption of NFTs to users, promoters of NFTs, and even experts of subjects like legal, compliance, and regulations. Please welcome Pauline Adam-Kalfon, PwC France lead for crypto, Jessica Castro-Oudni, PwC France tax lead for crypto, Pablo Valles, venture and strategy architect at ConsenSys, Pierre Guigourese, COO and co-founder at Exclusible, Sébastien Borget, COO at the Sandbox, Julien Bouteloup or Sam, COO at Blackpool, or Sam, general manager Blackpool and StakeDAO, among others. And I'm David Servet, co-founder and president at Blockchain at HEC, created in 2017 to share knowledge on the Web3 economy and to connect ecosystems from the HEC alumni community and well beyond. And I'm today supported by Nicolas Decouter, co-founder of the Blockchain Club at HEC Alumni UK. So first of all, I would like to thank all partners, HEC Alumni, HEC Paris, and all the 70 speakers and companies who have already come to share with us their knowledge about this fascinating new world of Web3. And then I would like to give a huge kudos for two new and first official partners, PwC and StakeDAO Blackpool, with Pauline Adam-Kalfon, partner and lead blockchain at PwC, and with also Julien Bouteloup, successful serial entrepreneur and Web3 builder, for joining and supporting our Blockchain at HEC professional group. So breaking news, Pauline and Julien have accepted to have an honorary role of prime sponsor of our community. So Pauline and Julien are both pushing forward the frontiers of Web3 worldwide and the worldwide adoption through their roles in the Web3 industry. And we are very proud. So thank you, Pauline and Julien. And yeah. Just also a few words about the Pope that you will have to get at the end of this session. So just watch out, you will have the possibility to get an NFT from this session. You only have to scan the QR code that you will have to check during the 1 hour 30 webinar. Nicolas, if you want to continue.
Yeah, very good. So definitely glad to have Pauline and Julien support our initiative. So thanks for the both of you. All right. So let me first start with a reminder that Blockchain HEC is organizing between 1 and 2 conferences a month. So the next one will be our monthly meeting with Stanislas de Kenetin from Blockchain Experts on May the 19th, with a crypto market debrief. And others are in gestation. I think maybe we may find that stablecoin is quite typical. So we will start maybe with this one for the next one. So stay tuned. Now, to come back to today's topic, we are very happy to welcome our group of experts, amazing speakers to talk about NFTs. So the topic will be around the NFT ecosystems, the communities, their use cases, the catalyst, but also all the barriers that hindering the adoption of the NFTs. So first, a few words about logistics. This webinar will be split in 3 sections. And the first one will last about 40 minutes and will be the occasion for each speaker to introduce themselves, to present the NFT environment or ecosystem that they are evolving into at the moment, but also I will ask each presenter to pick 1 or 2 NFT projects of their choice and to highlight them. That would be quite interesting to have their side of the story. The second section of 30 minutes will be devoted to cover 3 main questions. And I'm sure we'll certainly collect already the first question from the attendants, but don't worry if we don't manage to answer to all the questions, because the last session of 20 minutes will be dedicated to a Q&A session. So a lot of questions that you have, you can obviously raise them during the course of this webinar, but keep them for the last part, if you will. Now, let's crack on. I'd like to start maybe with you, Pauline, if you could introduce yourself. And again, talk about what it means for you in NFT and maybe talk about the topics of NFT projects. Thank you.
So hi, everyone. Very happy to be here with you. So I'm Pauline Adam-Kalfon. As you mentioned in the introduction, I'm leading blockchain and crypto within PwC France and Maghreb, but we are a community of crypto and blockchain people within PwC worldwide. So worldwide, we're talking about 400 people that are devoted on these topics. And just to put it in a nutshell, what we do with our clients can be summarized into two things. First one, build trust, because PwC, as you may know, our business is bringing some expertise around four activities. First one is audit. So the terminology is assurance, bringing assurance. Second is consulting. Third expertise we have is around deals. And the fourth is around legal and tax. So what we do in crypto and blockchain are two things. First, bring trust to all stakeholders. It can be certifying accounts that are done in cryptos, providing some certification in terms of carbon footprint, tax position, legal, all those kind of things, trust. And the second type of services we bring to our clients is helping them to transform with sustainable results. And the use cases are very different depending on the industries. So we work very closely with the industry experts within PwC France and Maghreb. So that is for who I am. And the second questions you had was what is the definition we have around NFT?
Yeah, that's right. You can talk about that, and also like if you have any NFT project that you would like to highlight and promote, obviously on your behalf, not on maybe on behalf of PwC, but you choose.
Yes. Well, okay, so just to be very concrete, yes, we do. We do have different types of projects around NFTs. So we do work with companies that are, let's say, that are pure players of the Web3, and for these companies specifically, we work with companies that are bringing metaverse services. And so we are helping companies to set up all the NFT strategy. So that's very wide because it's for different type of use cases, and we can come in with more details. We are also working for some people that are in the art space. And here we are talking about making, let's say, cultural artifacts and history. And for example, because this is something we can publicly share, we are working for a photo gallery that sells scientific pictures, and they have pictures which are very rare, and they wanted to sell those pictures through NFTs. So this is some examples, and we also work in the, let's say, financial services, space, and we work on real estate, and it's very different type of NFT cases. So these are only 3 examples, which are very various. Some which are for pure players, some which are in the financial services industry, some which are in the art space, and we're also working for a gaming company, because there are lots of NFTs in the gaming space.
Super, very interesting. Jessica, why not we follow up with you?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Jessica Castro-Oudni. So I'm working with Pauline in PwC. I am a tax lawyer, and I am leading the practice of the crypto for tax in PwC. So my background is I work for PwC till several years now, 9 I will say, but before that I was in the French tax authorities. So I have a strong background on taxation and a deep knowledge of the French tax authorities. So which give an advantage when you want to speak with the French tax authorities, to have some clarification or to know how the French tax authorities could have his thinking on some subject. On my side, so I work with Pauline, so I have the same use cases, but I could add some other use cases around the NFTs, such as NFTs serving as a certification in the luxury world, I will say. In this case, it is really the NFT which will allow to authenticate the goods, the object, and to track them, notably in the second-hand market. I work also on some NFTs which gives right to some priority on certain services. Or I can quote also NFT which give the possibility to use a defined good over a determined period for some mining companies, for example.
Thank you. Should we go with you, Pablo?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Pablo Valles from ConsenSys. I stepped into the blockchain world in 2016. I created my own blockchain boutique in Paris, and I stepped into the NFT world in 2018 when I collected my first NFT. It was a CryptoKitty. Some of you may know this collection. And the same year I joined ConsenSys. ConsenSys is one of the leading blockchain software company worldwide. We are approximately 1,000 employees building Web3 products for everyone. Today, between 60 and 80% of the overall Ethereum traffic is going through our products, such as Infura, which is the gateway to the blockchain public networks, and MetaMask, the crypto and NFT wallet that you all know. And at ConsenSys, I'm focusing on developing our NFT activity. So we have 3 main products for that. We have a ConsenSys NFT, which is a white label NFT platform for anyone willing to monetize either its brand, its IP, or its audience by issuing, distributing, or selling NFTs. We have Infura NFT API, so basically developer tools that can be leveraged by Web3 builders to build their own NFT platform, marketplace, game application, and so on. And MetaMask, of course, the NFT wallet that most of you know to purchase, collect, display, swap, trade, or do whatever you want with your NFTs. So far at ConsenSys, we have helped our clients to issue more than 15 million NFTs. So we are working a lot with we are quite active in the luxury industry, working with most of the luxury brands and groups worldwide on multiple use cases that I will be able to detail later. We are also very active in the sport industry. We are working with sport properties, and we are helping them building the NFT platform. We are also very active in the entertainment industry. We are working with traditional artists or crypto artists, such as, for example, Damien Hirst, Murakami, and others. And we are also working a lot with all the new NFT startups as we are providing them with the infrastructure pieces or software that they need to build their own NFT use cases. So that's it in a nutshell for myself and for ConsenSys. And if you want me to describe a few NFT projects, so I can take some projects that we have done last year. So for example, I was mentioning Damien Hirst, which is an artist, and we helped him doing his first NFT drop last year. And it was quite successful because it was like 6 times oversubscribed, and it reached a market cap of $600 million in a few weeks. And the concept behind was quite interesting because all the NFTs were associated to physical pieces of art, and the concept was to enable the NFT user either to keep the NFTs or to claim the physical piece of art, given that the other assets will be destroyed. So it was a way for Damien Hirst to analyze whether art collectors will prefer having the NFTs or the physical piece of art. But the redemption period is not finalized yet, so we don't know the results at the moment. Another project that may be interesting is a drop.
Pablo, no teasing, even if it's not finished. No indication of.
No, nothing for the moment. But in a few weeks, I think the redemption period will be over, so we know more. Another project that we have done recently is a collaboration between MAC, the NGO, and Keith Haring. So it was like 100% digital art translated into NFTs and sold for the charity. So it was quite a successful project. And very recently, last week, we also built a loft in the metaverse for the Serie A, so the Italian Football League. And the user had to own a specific NFT as access token to enter into this virtual world. And the users were able to basically watch the football game within a 3D environment, to interact with the other fans in the loft, to participate in some quizzes, games, and so on. So it was also a fun project. So these are 3 projects that we did recently, but of course we are doing a lot in the space and the industry. So happy to discuss it with you today.
Yes, I mean, it sounds fantastic. I mean, I think like we'll cover as well like a few more questions during the second part, and I'm sure like a few let's say lessons from all these projects will resonate when we talk about the challenges of doing all these projects. So thanks, Pablo. Maybe let's move to you, Julien, if you are with us.
Yeah. Hey guys. Sorry.
Hello, Julien.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I was a bit late. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, so my name is Julien Bouteloup. I've been in the space for quite some time. Was a Bitcoin maximalist in the early days, and then Ethereum also like in the very early days. And I've been building different projects in the industry. I'm involved in Curve Finance, which is the biggest auto market maker for stablecoins, and now also crypto in general. We're doing between 1 billion and today 6 billion US dollars volume per day. So it's pretty huge. I'm also the founder of Rect.news, which is the underlying news report, underlying dark force that does investigation on the crypto space, the blockchain, and the vision of this space in more general aspect. Also the founder of StakeDAO, which is the decentralized exchange where we build strategies. We can do conservative or more risky strategies such as options, futures, so you can hedge or you can leverage on different markets. We also involved in a few different blockchains. I think it's like 7 or 8 different blockchains. And the quant investment firm called Stake Capital, where we do market making, arbitrage, liquidation, flash loan, all the different things in the DeFi space. And obviously, as today or this week, it's very important because some people tend to leverage in a dangerous market. And then the last one, which is Blackpool. Blackpool is probably one of the biggest hedge fund in the NFT market. We are the leader. So we invest in different NFT projects, and then we are actively building stuff on top of those projects. For example, like I can see Sébastien here, but for example, like on Sandbox, we buy some lands, and then we build properties on top of them, or we can lend those properties and all the different things. So it's more like managing. Blackpool is a quantitative hedge fund in the NFT market. For now, it's like mostly based on games. For example, we are the leader in Sorare, which is the one of the biggest European unicorn football fantasy game. We also involved in Axie, in Comets that recently raised in France $10 million from Jerome Letici. So we do like gaming, but we also involved in all the different verticals, or trying to tap into the different vertical that society is built on top of. So we do, as mentioned, gaming, real estate, arts, fashions, and also the plan of Blackpool, and this is the reason why the team is composed of mostly of quants and people that can do like analysts that can analyze the market, is that we believe that the NFT market for now, obviously it's mostly based on JPEGs, I would say the volume of the NFT market, but it will soon be more mature as we see the market getting more into more mature phases. So then we'll tap into traditional markets such as debts, bonds, and all the different products that financial market can offer today. That's the reason why in Blackpool we don't usually, I would say like maybe 10%, we invest in speculation, 10% of the fund, but then the rest of it is really purely based on analysis that we can do on the NFT market that can provide us on the short, medium, or long term generative passive yield. So for example, on Sorare, we'll buy players and we'll have people that understand football very well that can also go and watch the game, or they will also go in the middle of the countryside somewhere to find some new players. And as soon as the NFT is created for that player, we'll buy it earlier. In the first one. So it's really like mixing the physical world and the digital world, or the blockchain space. So I would say we have deployed approximately $20 million on the market of NFTs, and we have invested in more than 30 different companies in Blackpool. So Blackpool is also managing funds, assets, I would say NFTs asset from other projects or funds that have no capacity or understanding of the market for them to generate passive yield. So we also have a guild. The guild is composed, we have more than 1,500 people that play across the different projects that we're running. So it's not only gaming, but it's also, like as mentioned, real estate, or like arts and lending, borrowing, leveraging, de-risking on the market. We have an academy. The academy, we have a studio, we have a school. We write also a lot of different content. We're really trying to explain the potential of the NFT market, even if today NFT is usually associated to JPEGs, but the potential of this market could be actually bigger than ERC20 or like normal assets, like crypto assets, because we're talking about digitalization of the society. And this could be, if we compare Curve that is doing between 1 billion and 5 billion US dollars volume per day, if you compare this to the FX market, 5 trillion US dollars a day volume, well, the NFT market could actually be bigger than the crypto market today on a short and medium term. So it's a massive market, and that's what we're trying to be positioned. We're trying to position ourselves as the leader in the NFT market, and also on the crypto space with the quant. So we have an activity that is cross layers from major exchange, NFT market, and quantitative activity such as the stake capital. That's it.
Yeah, thanks, Julien. I'm sure we'll get to more details when we try to address some of the trends in the context of the financialization of the NFTs. So we'll get to this point later. So I've just seen you, Seb. Welcome to the webinar. Sébastien, do you want to introduce yourself for those who are new? Do you?
I don't know if he can.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm just looking for a more quiet place. How are you? Good. My name is Sébastien Borget. I'm the CEO and co-founder. No, my name is Sébastien Borget. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Sandbox, which is like a decentralized gaming virtual world where users can truly own their digital asset and monetize them thanks to the use of blockchain technology and NFTs. We have been already launching 2 successful seasons where players could enter the metaverse and play over 35 experiences. We already work with more than 200 brands, I think 300 actually. I start having count. And we continue providing a lot of creative possibilities for various artists and creators to truly own their asset and monetize them, keeping 95% of the revenue they generate.
Great, thank you, Seb. Pierre, do you want to follow up?
Sure. Yeah, hey everyone. Pierre, one of the co-founders of Exclusible, which is an NFT marketplace dedicated to luxury brands and as well as metaverse experiences, including on Sandbox. So I left HEC 9 years ago, worked in strategy consulting for some time, and discovered NFTs January of last year, and then just went down the rabbit hole and left my job and just went full time into Web3. So that's kind of my story so far. To give you a bit more context on what we're working on at Exclusible, basically we started from the discovery or intuition that there was a strong fit between NFTs, right, which are digital scarcity basically, and the world of luxury, which is itself an industry that works around the notion of scarcity. So there was kind of a natural, even though theoretical, fit at the moment. And we've been exploring this, what does it mean exactly to explore these crossroads across supercars, watches, fashion jewelry. We've done 9 projects so far around our launchpad model, in which we put the spotlight on one collection of NFTs done by a luxury brand or done by ourselves as well sometimes, which includes also metaverse real estate. We've done islands, we've done villas in the Sandbox. We're soon launching luxury penthouses in spatial. So it's all this blend of affluent lifestyle, let's say, in the blockchain that we're trying to put the spotlight on, which actually solves 2 needs on the brand side and on the user side. On the brand side, you provide this space which is curated with a community that's already locked in and interested in that space, right? Which is a big advantage when you know how noisy Web3 can be. There's just every day lots of new projects coming up. So it's very hard to exist even when you have a powerful brand. So that's one issue that we solve. And on the demand side, basically we also provide this role of having a scam-free, luxurious experience. If you want to buy NFTs, usually the first place you look for is OpenSea, which you could compare a bit to eBay, right? It's not exactly comparable to Avenue Montaigne kind of user experience. So that's also what we're sort of providing. And perhaps to answer your last question on the examples of NFT projects that we've been working on, perhaps 3 kind of use cases. One is our first collection, which was called the Alpha collection, 3,000 NFTs that we sold at 0.2 Ether each, so raising 2 million euros in the process, is a membership card. Basically, if you own one of these NFT, that gives you pre-sale access to each and every one of our collection, along with a number of perks, rewards. You're invited to events, to parties. And that was the way that we sort of bootstrapped the company. You launch this collection, you create your community, you create a locked-in demand, and you have initial revenue to actually bootstrap the company and launch the operations, which is a use case that we've seen more and more with NFT projects launching and using the proceeds from their first collection to fund the roadmap that they're intending to deliver over the long term. That's one example. Another one is Asprey and Bugatti collection that we did, 261 NFTs Each NFT gives you the right to redeem a physical sculpture of a Bugatti car. Another good success, the mint was 3.8 Ether, the floor price right now is 10. So super happy about this one. And another example is what we did on Sandbox, the Exclusible Islands. 25 luxurious islands owned by some celebrities such as Stan Wawrinka, Marco Verratti, Kingsley Coman, etc. So kind of a VIP community within the Sandbox. So yeah, those are some examples of what we've been working on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you to all the speakers for highlighting the few highlights about their NFT ecosystem. And yeah, you've been all master of growth actually with your projects. The first question actually is regarding the use case. Actually, what do you think are the most promising use cases of NFT beyond the most famous generative NFT such as the Bored Ape Yacht Club? So collectible versus utility aspect of the token, ticketing, marketing. I mean, what do you think for you as the most promising use cases? Maybe we can start off with Pablo, if you want.
Yeah, sure. So I think it's true to say that today the market has been flooded with NFT collections that were just looking for, doing some speculation. But still, there are plenty of other NFT collections that are coming with concrete utility. And I always use the same framework to define or to classify the utilities that can come on top of an NFT. So the first one that has been mentioned earlier is the digital twin of a physical product. So NFT can be the technological standard to represent digital twin of physical products. And here, of course, we can think about use cases such as digital certificate, authenticity certificates, or even digital representation of physical assets. The second utility is the ability for the NFT collector basically to show its NFT. So this is something that already exists in real life. So as you are proud to show that you own a Rolex or whatever in the metaverse or online, you may be proud to show that you own a digital asset. And if we look at some PFP NFT projects, this is exactly the reason of this PFP project. So you display something on your social media, and what you display is just the ownership of a digital asset. Another category of utility for NFT is the experience that is coming on top of the NFT. So basically being the owner of a specific NFT enables you to benefit from a specific experience, whether it's in the metaverse as the projects that I described earlier, the Serie A project that we did a few days ago, or in real world. So basically being able to prove that you own a specific NFT enables you to benefit from a specific experience. It's not that disruptive, but it's still, NFT can be seen as an enabler, a technological enabler of this use case. Another utility, which is a little bit more disruptive, in my opinion, is collecting NFT to earn reward. So here we hear a lot about the play to earn models. So Rare, for example, is one of them. So basically, you collect NFTs, you use these NFTs as game assets, and based on the result of the games, you earn some rewards. So whether it's other NFTs, tokens, or whatever. And here I think that the concept is very interesting because the NFT is an asset that you want to collect, but it's also an asset that you can leverage in multiple environments or games or experiences. Then another utility which makes a lot of sense according to me, and which is a little bit disruptive as well, is the ability to influence with an NFT. So if you are an owner of a specific NFT, you can participate in some decision-making within a specific community. So this is something that exists in real life. This is something that is not easy to implement online or in the metaverse. And NFT ownership as access token or as participation means within a specific community online makes a lot of sense. And it's linked with the concept of DAOs that has been mentioned earlier, and that is becoming quite popular this year. And finally, we can also describe the utility of accessing. So you mentioned the ticketing concept. So yes, today some NFT are used as access tokens, either for in real life events or virtual events. So here, once again, it's not that disruptive, but it's a technological enabler. And the technology here is bringing value to the NFT owner, because the NFT is interoperable between multiple platforms, is quite liquid, as it can be easily transferred or easily sold on online marketplaces and so on. So this is a framework I like to use in order to explain what are the utilities on top of NFTs. Of course, this framework is not exhaustive, but I think it's easy for everyone to understand what we can do with NFTs.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you. Maybe we can continue. Maybe if you have any comments on that, Sébastien or Julien, don't hesitate if you want to add any thoughts.
Maybe okay. I can just add something. First, I think it's a very good and practical way to present the type of NFT. Maybe just to elaborate on the different examples that you provided. When you said it can give access, so to be very practical, some type of applications we're working on are around the ticketings and any types of forms of access authorization, because at the end, any form of evidence that can allow holders to access certain events, software, airplanes, ticket, anything, they can be minted. They can be minted and created using unique NFTs, and you can have all different functionalities programmed on these type of NFTs, such as value of tickets can be programmed to vary in accordance with the demand, so that can ensure that full capacity is utilized and that event organizer or service providers maximize their gains and so on. And maybe what I would just like to add, there is a booming market now on the NFTs, and what we are seeing also on the market are the false NFTs, because as it was mentioned in the introductions, we're talking about scarcities and it's non-fungible tokens. And we see lots of projects where it's kind of, let's say, traditional utility tokens, but now they are renamed, and it's in the section that Pablo described as giving an access, giving an authorization to be used in a certain way. But at the end, it's fully fungible, but they would just not call it as a utility token, but they call it now NFT, because they know the market is more here. And maybe in a few minutes, we'll talk about legal and tax implications. Depending on the type of underlying asset and the type of token, the tax regime and the legal regime is very different. So in fact, there is the matrix Pablo described, and then if you put tax and legal consideration, you will see that you can take legal, tax, economic value to decide what type of token you want to launch on the market. So it was just to add this comment.
Thank you, Pauline. Any other comments, maybe?
Perhaps just to add on that. I mean, I agree with what's been said before, and I think your framework, Pablo, I think it indeed covers like the a big chunk of the different use cases. I think what we're going to be witnessing as well that hasn't really fully happened yet is to what extent we can see something which could be called like Web 2.5, i.e. how Web 2 brands leverage some part of the Web 3 stack to enable some strategies. You can think, for instance, of how do you do drive to e-commerce, basically bringing the Web 3 audience that discovers your brand through an NFT project, for instance, towards your e-commerce website. Like Kenzo has done that pretty efficiently recently. We've seen it with Adidas as well. We've seen on our side as well with a watchmaker, which saw some new clients through our community. So this is something that I think we'll see happen. Drive to physical store is also something that you can definitely imagine. You mentioned the proof of addendum protocol, for instance, which means that you were present at this time for this. You can use this, this concept pretty easily to be like, well, if you show up at this store, or if you go through this treasure hunt, then you can get this token airdrop to your wallet. So you can imagine lots of things around this. I think loyalty program as well. We can definitely think of the wallet as the extension of your CRM. Basically, what's in your wallet is also a depiction of who you are. What are your tastes? What the Popes is like, where you've been. What have you minted? So you could definitely use this also as as part of your loyalty program, basically. So I think we'll see. This is a very embryo level, let's say, but I think we'll see it mature pretty soon, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pierre. Okay. Nicolas, maybe you want to?
Yes, and Pauline touched upon one technical question on the legal side. So it is quite a nice segue to the second question. So as a matter of fact, I have two questions as part of this second questions. The first one relates to legal ownership and copyrights. So it's indeed important to know that NFT merely represents ownership of a digital asset, but not the digital asset itself. So just by de facto, there are many implications from this. So when buying an NFT, what are the rights coming with the purchase? So this is definitely one question that I'd like to submit to the panelists, and also coming with the legal consideration, how is addressed the question of the authenticity of the underlying assets. So it's the first set of questions. The second one is about valuation, but maybe let's start with this legal consideration. And Jessica, I think you are well positioned to take this one.
Yes, thank you. Perhaps before answering the question, we can recall the legal, from a legal point of view, what is a NFT? An NFT is defined, as a matter of fact, from a legal point of view, as a unique numerical identifier that represents rights attached to an underlying asset. So there is several possibilities when you have an NFT from a legal perspective. The first one is that the NFT can represent an asset, such as art or collections of photos or so on. The second possibility is that the asset can represent a right of access. For example, you could give right to access to private sales before opening to the public. It is an example. And then you can have NFT that could represent a right of use the asset. For example, use a real estate asset over a defined period of time. This is a possibility, for example. Obviously, the answer to this question will depend on the nature of the acquired NFT and the underlying asset it represents. Sorry, but from a general point of view, when the NFT represents the property or a personal right of use, for example, the assignment or the transfer of the NFT should give access to the ownership of the property of the good or the right transferred. because we have a real right on the underlying asset. We have some exception for certain type of assets, for example, real estate or art, for which we remind under the specific rule according to this area. For example, copyright that protects words. The rule around copyright should remain applicable, and to have a copyright on some art, for example, you should have 2 criteria that should be met, such as original and materials on the material support. The art should be original and materials. So there is some specificity on some type of goods. The NFT could also be viewed as a proof of ownership, a certification of the ownership of the object, and then as such could confer legitimacy of ownership and rights attached to the owner of the NFT. And finally, the NFT, which represents a personal right, can also offer to its owner the possibility to legitimately use the right it represents. So of course the use cases with the NFT are very wide, and so it is difficult to give an exhaustive vision of all the legal aspects, but in a nutshell, if we can summarize something, this is what I could say on the legal side of the NFTs.
Pauline,
and maybe yes, because as Jessica is mentioning, what is very key is just to understand that it's very it's very specific to the type of underlying asset and the type of usage of the NFT itself. But if we talk very simply of the different types of challenges that we see with regard to legal and regulatory aspects, what we could say is that, you know, the main consideration that we see around the NFT is, let's say, first, intellectual property laws that play, let's say, a major role for content creators, of course, in providing powerful tools for creators to protect the content. Then creators of NFTs and resellers, such as the marketplaces, they really must design robust contractual framework in order to ensure adequate protection of the business and the product, which is something different. And finally, financial regulation plays a huge role as well, given the, let's say, opaque distinction between financial instruments and digital assets in some cases. So the challenges are really those 3 types: intellectual property, and for intellectual property, we see in NFTs that bear the number of risks, which are the same, of course, for other digital assets, such as security breach, theft, loss of private keys, etc. And they are really, let's say, technical risk, but they also have, when the NFTs are linked to a real world asset, the main challenges for IP resides in connecting the two. And as you mentioned, being able to prove that it's real. For instance, we have some NFTs that are simply, let's say, pointers to a web page, which can be later modified by its owner. So how do you make the link between the NFT and in those instances, the, let's say, effective power of disposition over the property is really defective, as the possession of the asset can be, let's say, disturbed by a third party. Regarding, let's say, contractual terms, because this is really part of the strategy to protect the creators' rights, the terms of sales and the use are really utmost importance for us, and a really, let's say, robust and comprehensive agreement is absolutely key to ensure adequate protection of the rights attached to the NFTs. Because, for example, It can be contractually agreed to sell an NFT, which is, let's say, naked without intellectual property rights to be underlying work attached to it. But in doing so, the creators of the NFT really ensures proper retention of a part of the value which is derived from its creation. So the contractual terms can be really drafted in a way to allow sufficient flexibility in determining what are the rights that the creator sells with the NFT and which rights shall be retained by the seller. And we can elaborate hours to give examples.
So I have another question, which I suppose will lead to potentially long hours of debate. But is an NFT a financial security? Big topic. I mean, as you alluded to the financial regulation. So, like in a few words, I mean, like all the possibilities are there, but any trend towards one yes or one no?
I don't know if the question is for PwC or for the others.
I mean, if anyone among the panelists, want to jump in, that's fine. Otherwise, Pauline and Jessica, you can take this one.
Yes, for what we see on the market, it depends on the characteristic of the NFT and how you operate the NFT on the market, because you can be borderline and fall within the regulatory the regulatory side on certain circumstances, and it is really a study case by case that we made, because there is no clear cut on whether that it could be the NFT could be on one side or on the other side. So from our practice, it is really a case by case analysis, and in some cases, we have some questions on the fact that perhaps this kind of NFTs and the characteristics it has and how it is operated, it could fall within the regulation and to be subject to some agreement before the IMF and so on. So
and maybe, Jessica, just to give a very concrete example, you could give an example of an NFT linked to a real estate, which could fall in one side or on the other side. So it could be very concrete in this case.
For real estate, for example, if you have the NFT on the building, so you should remain within the regular, I will say, law around the real estate. The qualification of the NFT is disregarded for this, and real estate follows all the regular laws around the real estate. There is no specificity because you have the NFT. But if you, for example, put the NFT not on the real estate directly, but on the shares of the company holding the real estate, you could consider that you have a full NFT, and perhaps to have other regime applicable and not to fall within the regulation of the real estate indirect.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe one thing I can add on. Pardon. Peut-être un point que je pourrais ajouter sur ce sujet, c'est qu'en ce moment, vous avez peut-être suivi la mise en place de la régulation MiCA en Europe.
Can you speak in English?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
One thing I could add actually is, like, you might have been following the MiCA regulation in Europe, and there's currently a coalition of a certain number of like blockchain gaming related actors that include Ubisoft, Sorare, the Blockchain Game Alliance, and the Sandbox, towards proposing to the various people in charge of the text here some adjustment towards like a special treatment of NFTs, because in games, like what kind of service that NFT unlock in game are definitely related to entertainment and not treated as a financial asset. And as such, we're trying to do a job of really educating what's the difference, what the purpose, whether it's around into the quantity that's being minted, the way that those assets, even though they could be liquid on marketplaces, the OpenSys, which are like the eBays or the Le Bon Coin of digital asset, they are not tradable on exchanges with the same approach, the same fungibility behind. And we're essentially watching for like a clear distinction of NFTs applied in game to be fully excluded from such regulation, because if they are not, then it might actually trigger purely and simply the death of a whole industry that actually, for those of you who are listening today are based in France, we're lucky to have a certain number of French-based actors that push toward the Web3 and NFT industry. And that would be falling under those limitations and constraints, and that would definitely block or restrict too heavily the access to of the users and gamers for the platform operating behind. So it's also really important to tackle, yes, NFT can represent any kind of digital assets, but it's applied into gaming when they are like characters, equipment, or even virtual land. They have like a clear purpose from the very beginning, and they're the intention from the companies that use and mint those NFTs are clearly not the same as like tokenizing any kind of content that could be indeed associated to security, as we described before from the PwC example.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for the perspective. I guess, I mean, I think there's a lot of education that needs to happen with the regulation and supervisors. So thanks for pushing that on behalf of the community. So I had another question about tax, but maybe I will keep it for later if we have time, or even like for personal call. I mean, I may call you Pauline or Jessica, but I think there's another aspect of this second question that I wanted to allude to, i.e. the valuation of the NFT. And my question will be, is there any pricing methods, any, let's say, rigorous, modeling aspects that could lead to a fair value on NFT, any inputs into the valuation? How would you describe as the main triggers of the valuation on NFT? Maybe Julien, if you want to take this one.
Yeah, sure. It's a good question. That's exactly what we're doing, and we specialized in Blackpool. We're not only doing it for ourselves, but also for other people that want to jump into the NFT space. So I think you have two or three major type of NFTs. The first one, the NFTs that are purely at the beginning based on speculation, and also community-wise, how you measure the impact of using those NFTs in the community-driven aspect. This one, I will say it's more complicated because based on the number of NFTs and projects that are out there, the ecosystem of people tend to always focus or remember the successful ones, but before the Bored Apes and other NFTs, you have 100,000s of other projects that attempt the exact same mechanism or the exact same process, but most of them failed. So one of them managed somehow to get into millions of US dollars valuations because they managed somehow to get this strong community and build around it. But most of those projects, they tend to fail, and they will fail because it's usually marketing and no intrinsic value. And then you have the other side of the spectrum, which is really NFT that are producing yield, or NFTs that you can use in different projects, such as, for example, in Sandbox or in other game like Sorare or Axie Infinity. So what we do in this tranche or this spectrum, on the side of the spectrum of the NFT market, is we try to apply the exact same mechanism at traditional finance. So we try to calculate what's the, for $1 of investment in one NFT, how much reward would you get at the end of the year, depending on which on the capacity, the technical understanding that you have on the market, for example, to trigger a guild of people that would play with the NFT inside the game. So for example, if it's a football fantasy, then you need people that are really aware of the football industry. If it's a chess game, then you, for example, like Immortal, then you need people to understand how to play chess. So what we're doing is like we measure what's how special and what kind of knowledge and what kind of expertise and understanding that you need in this kind of NFT project. And then this is how we can calculate exactly the potential of the project, but also the price of the NFT. And then by either by staking the NFT or playing with the NFT or lending and borrowing against it, then this is how we can derive price mechanism out of those NFTs. So for example, if you go to Blackpool Finance, you have a quant section. And in this quant section, we have built over the past 2 years, we have built some mathematical models that can predict quite like accurately the price of an NFT over time. I'm talking about like projects that have a strong basis, not a speculation project, because in speculation project it's really hard to predict the price of an asset, or like in traditional finance. But for projects that have strong vision and strong pillars, then it's quite accurate and it's quite easy to predict the future of those NFT inside the game. And then attached to this NFT, you have the token. And this is the question is how the token, I mean, most of the time you have NFTs and you have token attached to it. So this is how, what kind of, how much tokens you need to acquire in order to maximize your rewards over time using a portion of the NFTs that you have in the game. Because also those NFTs don't have the same power. For example, in Sorare, you have 3 different types of NFTs. So all those different points can guarantee, not guarantee because there's no guarantee in this space, but they can accurately price an NFT. And this is how this is exactly what we're doing in Blackpool. But Blackpool, we come from the quant side, hedge fund, traditional finance, and we apply the exact same models. So even if it looks like a little bit crazy, the NFT market, we actually apply the same models to predict the price. And so far, so good. We've been doing quite a good job.
Super. Maybe David, it's time for the third question.
Yeah, just a quick question, but let's switch to a more general question, which is like about the barriers and the enablers of the adoption of the NFTs. So what would you say about these enablers and these barriers today about the adoption of the NFTs? Maybe Sébastien, if you want to start, or Pierre also.
Happy to start. So on. Yeah, I think on the barriers, I think those are today mostly on the technological side, I believe. It's still pretty, it's still a pretty clunky experience buying your first NFT, right? You need to have, if you're buying on Ethereum, you need to have a MetaMask wallet or Wallet Connect. You need to fund it with crypto. That means usually you need to have created an account on a central exchange usually. So it's not like a seamless experience at the moment. Some websites have implemented credit card purchase, so that's obviously one thing that makes it a bit simpler. But I would say it's still pretty complicated. You need to also factor in things like the gas fees, which is not like an intuitive thing when you've never dealt with the blockchain before. Lots of specific lingo of the blockchain. All of this, I think, is really sort of the testament that it was first and foremost like a technological innovation that's now becoming a cultural object, but it still has like lots of characteristics of a purely technological thing. So I think that for me, at least, that's one of the major barriers at the moment. It's getting better, of course, as new products get out with a better UX. And on the enablers, I think if we look at successful projects like just Bored Ape Yacht Club, I think one of the big enablers was the power of using celebrities as a way to display NFTs to the whole world. If you look at just one example is Neymar Jr. He has a Bored Ape and he likes to show it everywhere. So he wears it. He has like a specifically designed outfit displaying his Bored Ape. So he has it as a profile picture as well, I think, on Instagram. So his Instagram is like millions of followers. Those are people being exposed to Bored Ape Yacht Club as a brand, but also being exposed to the very concept of an NFT. So I think, and we've seen it with Justin Bieber, we've seen it with Madonna, I think, as well. So I think this is playing a big role in like just making more people aware of what NFTs are. Those are the two, I think, main things I would mention on this.
Thanks, Pierre. Maybe Sébastien, if you want to add some words about the barriers and enablers of the adoption of NFTs.
Sure. I would add, like, essentially, I would tend to favor the kind of project that drive a real use case behind like the use of the NFTs. So like beginning a community around like a product, building that product first, getting people able to use that product, and then introducing tokens and NFT is probably one of the most sensible ways to actually build like a community that will be here for the right reasons within the project, and specifically at a moment of time such as, like, unfortunately this week, where it seems we're heading into a new winter, that will cut out of the noise and the people who are just here for speculative reasons, whereas like having like real user that will stick for a long time and grow the value of your community and grow and become real stakeholder of the project, the right kind of audience. It's great that you can have like player own economy and involve the users as you're building them and having them own all the asset that will constitute your game progressively. But ultimately, if you just focus on creating the NFT and you put all your effort there, we end up into basically a problem that 99% of NFT communities have, is like, okay, now that we've minted, what do we do? In the industry, this is called like the post-mint problem. Like, what utility, what do we actually create for our community of holders, so they are still holding our NFT, that the floor price doesn't decrease, etc. But if you were like more thoughtful initially into planning the utility rather than rushing out for creating those NFTs out of some hype effect, you would already have some of those elements built in, and your NFT would be then used by guilds, used by companies, or not companies, like DAOs, like Blackpool, etc., because they will be already fitted for that. So you will get audience as well. The thing that kind of worries me is like, you've seen a lot of teams that are very creative, but they haven't had before any experience of building products, essentially. And that's part of like building product or building a game. Even if you're embracing Web3 and having NFTs or token, it doesn't get any simpler, actually. That's still a core challenge. That's still something that any entrepreneur I've seen before, how hard it is to create a great product that gets people. The fact that your community can own the asset of your product is great in itself, but it's not sufficient to patch the lack of a great product behind. And so that enabling more adoption for me is going through like enabling projects that are going to be run with team which will be serious about the execution of the product and its delivery toward the community, and will remain committed at all times and more focused around those aspects, like building products to offer utilities, and just wondering or focusing only on floor price of their tokens. What is great is like we've seen already some product and some community that will stay and stand strong and will keep growing. I think even when time of like crypto going down or up, like right now, we've seen Axie Infinity going through and being built through winters. We've seen a lot of Animoca brand portfolio companies going through that, and we've seen Sandbox among others as well. So I'm very attached to like how do we keep bringing more users with actual showcase of the possibilities behind of like how to best use your NFT or how to grow your utility, the utility of external NFTs in the space thanks to interoperability.
Thank you, Sébastien. Thank you. Any other comments from the panel? Maybe.
Maybe what? Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No, but maybe just to add something. So what we can say is that the landscape of NFT is very vast because as we mentioned today, there are many types of NFTs. It's burgeoning, and for the companies that want to enter it, I think it's very key that they equip themselves with a very good understanding of the market knowledge prior to entering the space, which is the kind of things that you are doing, David, with those panels, webcasts. So it's really very key to understand who are the players that are already in space. What is the underlying, let's say, popularity driver of the different NFTs and the various opportunities within the value chain of the NFT ecosystem. And companies, they should really assess, let's say, their own operation capabilities, legal, tax implication that relates to the insurance ownership or the transfer of the NFTs. And when dealing also with third parties, care should also be taken to conduct really, let's say, a proper diligence in finding the right service providers and the counterparties to work with. And there are many of them today with us. So to really finally, when deciding to, let's say, undertake any specific project, it's very important to establish also proper governance and controls to protect the company, the shareholders' interest, and to really ensure that there is an experienced team to manage the progress of the project. Because as we said, there are an increasing number of NFTs which are launched, and as the result of the boom, and competition is fierce for both issuers and also companies who want, of course, to capture the opportunities in this space, and to ensure that the project is really executed in a timely and efficient manner in one of the first, let's say, a few challenges that all players in the NFT space need to face. So these are, let's say, the kind of views where we can add on what has already been said.
Thank you, Pauline. Julien? Yeah. You want to add something?
Sorry, I missed the.
So it was about the maybe we can switch to the other question, maybe the subsidiary question, which was more addressed also, I think, maybe to start off with Julien. So Nicolas, if you want.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. But as I was looking at the chat, there's already a very good question for the audience, and that's lead to the question of the financialization of the NFT. So maybe one question for you, Julien, and that relates to the question raised by GF. So what do you think will be the main drivers of value for NFT growth in the next months? Bond lending, financialization of NFTs, real-world assets. So it's in conjunction to what we were saying about lending, NFTs, borrowing against NFTs. So what do you expect of this market to the next months and year?
Yeah, I agree. I think the lending market of NFTs, the way they are being priced, and the correlation or the intrinsic value you can get out of those NFTs, because you can make a passive income, generate yield. So those type of NFTs will be easily like implementable, like being plugged in lending marketplaces, for example, like Aave, or other projects. But for example, like people, they don't know that, for example, in Curve, we also have NFTs. And the NFT is there. I think that was one of the first use case or major use case in the ecosystem of blockchain that was used for, I mean, in DeFi space. NFT is that when you do like a huge swap, for example, you want to swap 10 million US dollars or 5 million US dollars. In traditional finance, you will do like through multi-collateral party, go through advocates like notary and then banks, and it can take months, and each of those parties will charge a fee, and then the deal likely to fail because the clause of some parts of the legal document is not clear. Well, here we can do a swap in less than 6 minutes. And what it does, it's like create an NFT that is transferred to the party that can redeem and then take the money. So it's completely trustless and it takes no time. So what I'm trying to say is those kind of use case that can take months, super expensive, and always require energy, resources, and knowledge to drive those deals, can be done without any parties, any legal parties, and this in less than 6 minutes. So the lending market plus the traditional market is coming into the NFT, or NFTs are jumping into this space, and they will accelerate the adoptions of those different tools, like the NFT mechanism, like either if it's fragmented NFTs or multi-collateral NFTs, or like different standards that can types of NFTs. For example, you can mix real estate with bonds of debts, like companies and different things like that. This is coming this year because, I mean, for example, on my side, we are currently working on those type of deals. And as soon as those structure from the traditional financial world, they jump into this space, it will scale the amount of volume, not necessarily the adoptions. I do believe that the adoption will be driven by existing applications that are not, as mentioned before in this conference, by blockchain. I don't believe the scalability will come from the blockchain world. The scalability, the adoption of the NFT will come from existing applications such as Twitter, TikTok, WhatsApp, Messenger, all those different applications that will provide use cases or provide NFT application for people without the necessity for those people to understand the underlying technology. So people will start using NFTs or blockchain without knowing this is an NFT and this is a blockchain. And this is where scalability comes into play. It's like people being able to use internet without understanding that this is HTTP, or email without understanding this is IMAP, or like any other protocols. This is the scalability side. And then we have, from the financial world, we have all those different systems that are being, we're talking about trillions of market cap that will be powered by NFT, like we did in Curve Finance, or like we're doing in Blackpool for the lending market. For example, we have Mbappe as a player, which is the most expensive card, or one of the most expensive cards in the game. Or sometimes we don't necessarily need to play the card, so we can lend the card to someone that will use the card to increase or accelerate his acquisition of NFT cards in his portfolio, and then he increases its points. And for us, we make more money doing so. So this is actually, yeah.
Very good. So I mean, Pablo was mentioning like the Instagram, news that they've just released the NFT display. So yeah, very
sorry to cut you. I will need to go.
Okay, Julien.
And thank you also for the status. Honored. I'm very honored, and I'm looking forward for the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Julien.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Pablo, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, to build on that, I agree. I agree that the next driver will go through the adoption of the mass market, and the adoption of the mass market will be driven by current mainstream platforms, social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and the others. So at the end of the day, the first barrier is not the technology or the products or the use cases, it's probably more the philosophy, the ideology, the concepts behind NFTs. And I think that people need to understand the value of owning a digital asset. This is not something intuitive, but in theory it is, but in practice it's not. So first, people need to understand what is the value added of owning a digital asset. And then when people will understand this value added, they will move very easily into the NFT world through the existing social media platform, games, and so on. And once we'll have like a mass adoption on NFTs, I think we'll see the emergence, the rise of more sophisticated use cases, such as the ones that has been mentioned, lending, borrowing, collateralization, fractionalization. But these more sophisticated use cases will not be the driver of the mass market adoption. It's the contrary. First, a mass market will come into the NFT world, and then we'll see the rise of these more sophisticated use cases. This is my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pablo. I think I just wanted to add something. I mean, just paraphrasing what Pierre was saying, and I do reckon that it's a very important point about the experience of being, let's say, an owner of NFT. I think I do like what you said, Pierre, about your project, that is definitely promoting that, because it's not really easy for a first-time buyer to do this acquisition, but there's definitely more room for improvement, if I may say, about being an owner of NFT currently. There's another question, unless anyone wants to jump on the same question and add, but I'm just cautious of time. And we all heard about what is happening in the cryptocurrency worlds with price plummeting, Terra, Luna, and so on. So one question from still GF, if I'm not mistaken, is how do you see the fundraising landscape for NFT? Given the current crypto market sentiment, which looks bearish. It depends. I mean, if you ask me, I'm still bullish, but maybe anyone who wants to take this question?
I can try. So I think that it has never been, I mean, if you are a Web3 company, if you are building an NFT project, it's probably the most easiest way to raise some funds currently on the market. We are seeing plenty of very early stage NFT startups raising a lot of monies comparing to other traditional businesses and startups. For the people who are in the crypto industry for a while now, we are quite familiar with the bear markets and the bull markets. So we are not afraid of this. We know that this is how the industry works. This is how the markets work. And I think it will still be easy to raise funds if you are looking to launch an NFT based project or startup. Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of money on the market currently, and this is definitely an industry, a market where plenty of investors are willing to invest.
Perhaps just also on this, and that will be my last Spencer, I will need to leave in a few minutes, but I agree with you. I think there's still indeed money willing to invest in fundraising rounds in NFTs right now, especially at the very early stages. There's been a few announcements in the past few days of seed rounds at pretty high valuation. So it still looks like there's still an appetite from investors, especially on, let's say, more infrastructure and platform plays, especially. At least that's what we're witnessing in the market in the moment. But just wanted to say on this, on the fundraising aspect, I think it's also important to keep in mind that we're seeing non-dilutive ways of raising funds in NFTs, such as what I mentioned before around launching for like using the sale of your first collection as a way to fund your operations. We've seen it, more and more in the market. Yuga Labs, they did it, right? That's kind of the most successful example so far. And I think this is definitely something that we'll continue to see. It's non-dilutive. It creates a community. It's a very Web3 way, I think, to fund your operations. So I'm pretty bullish on this way of funding operations to remain valid in the years to come. And thank you all for the speech, for the conversation. I need to leave, unfortunately.
Thank you, Pierre. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Me too, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
have to leave.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for being there, and it was really interesting. I wish you a very nice evening, and thank you, Nicolas, for your help also. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
It's a pleasure.
Nice evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.